Hey beautiful people, so thank you all for your sweet words of my video where I spoke about losing my job, and a lot of messages about what happened with my previous job. And you guys also want me to talk a little bit more about the other one, but I think I'll do it in two segments just to kind of explain my previous job, the one that I left. I was there, like I mentioned, for like 8 to 9 years. I started in, and then I grew in that position into higher positions. But everything was going great, and then there was a new project about to come, and I helped out with a very similar project within another location. So I was there when that project began, and I was there to see it through. So when this new project began, I immediately thought that this would be good for me to be a part of. At the time, the manager that was above me, my RM, he brought this particular manager over from the location that I was helping out at for that first project I mentioned to you guys. So I don't really know her, this female, but she was an older woman. I looked up to her. I basically learned a lot from her. So I admired her with a lot of respect. There she comes transferred to my location. We've worked together, never had any issues. And then it just started to go left real quick. First things first, she would literally text me like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes the day before, I worked an evening shift, so I'm still sleeping. So it would be paragraphs of stuff, just stuff that could wait until I got to work. I talked to her about it. She was like, oh, she understand, whatever. Instead of her waiting till I get to work, she would wait and give me a certain amount of time to assume I was up and start texting again. That was the first thing. It started to affect me where every morning I would be asleep and my phone would just be going off relentlessly about things that literally can wait until I get to work. The second thing was she would always tell me, oh, we're going to work on X, Y, and Z. I need you to get to work for this time and I'll be there. I'll get to work for the time she suggested, and she'll never show up until about 4 hours later. I'm not exaggerating this. And every single time she would have an excuse as to, oh, she forgot her wallet, or it always was something. She never was on property, put it this way. So let's say she tells me to go in for 5 o'clock. She's not coming till about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And then when she gets there, she's rushing me to do all these things that should have been done when she should have been there, because now she's late. She doesn't come at the time she tells me to get there, and I'm going about doing other things because I don't even know what we were supposed to be doing, because she didn't communicate that to me. And then when she gets there, she wants to rush for me to do all these things. So I'm timing myself like, this is the amount of hours I already worked and it's time for me to go. That's the time she wants me to stay. So she was on some crazy shit where she wanted me to be there from like 5 to 7 in the evening, or 5 to 8, basically just to be there because she was there late and want to play catch up. This one particular incident I remember because we had like a dinner or something for my sister. I remember this because I had to leave for a certain time and she came late that day as well. And I told her this in advance, like, I have to be out. She agreed, no problem. She gets there late. When she gets there, she's like, I understand you got to go, but she tries to hold me up. Then when I leave out, she waits like 2 hours later when I'm out at the dinner, and she's texting and calling my phone non-stop, like non-stop. Then she's like, oh, I know you see me texting you. So I would ignore her. Like, no, you're not going to invade my personal space. And somehow this lady did not comprehend what she was doing was wrong, or she just didn't give a shit. I honestly don't know, but I ignored her. If it wasn't that, she would wait till when I was on my days off to want to get on the phone to spend hours with me. And at the time, my partner, he was literally over it. Like, it was like this lady had no boundaries. So when all of this was going on, as I just mentioned, she's invading my personal life. And granted, the position I carried, I understand that if they need to reach out to me, they need to. But my boss above her was never doing this stuff. Like, he was the kind of person, if I'm off, it can wait unless it's a serious emergency. And he rarely ever did that. But no, she was not doing that. So after I thought things couldn't get any worse dealing with this woman, she literally started like dressing me down in front of the team. And half of the time she was dressing me down, this had nothing to do with me or anything related to me. So perfect example, one day she calls a meeting, everybody gets there, and one of the staff members brought something from a location that she specifically, I guess, told them to leave there. And I don't know what happened, but the employee brought it back. She then comes, call this meeting, and she's going off like on me, like I'm the one that did it. I wasn't even there the day when this happened. I don't know what communications they had. And when I tell you she was going off, I just looked at her like, grabbed myself together, walked out of the conversation we were having, and then stood outside. I don't know what conversations end up happening between her and the supervisors or what. And I guess in the moment of it, she realized like I didn't even know what was going on. So then when I came back in, after I kind of like calmed myself down, that's when she apologizes and says, oh, she's sorry in front of everybody, right? But the damage was already done. Like, you just humiliated me in front of my peers. So I'm okay. Okay, that was one. The second one was when I literally knew that I had to leave that job. We're working on the project. She goes ahead and she's like, I want you to do X, Y, and Z. So I said, okay, but I don't think it's going to look good if we do X, Y, and Z. She's like, no, well, do what you can, make it work. We're fixing this visual, and me and the employee that were doing it at the time was looking at each other like, this does not look good. So I go to her and I say, hey, she was in the back in the office, like, I think you should come and look at the wall because it's not coming out appealing. She's like, no, 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 you got it figured out, whatever. I left, go to the bathroom, because in my head I'm like, maybe I need to clear my head. I'm not seeing things the way I'm supposed to. Go to the bathroom and come back, and she is talking shit about me with the staff, unaware that I'm behind her standing up. She's literally talking shit about me. So a few staff members looked up and happened to see me, and one of the girls was like, well, she did try to get your opinion and she did tell you it wasn't looking right, but she's going off like I was the one that did this messed up nonsense when it was her idea. So instead of just going at her, I grabbed my wallet and I left that location to go to a next location. And as I'm walking out, one of our stock employees came walking with me, and I walked in the outside just to clear my mind. I literally went outside and started walking from one location to the next. And he looks at me, he said, listen, I know you don't see it, but we do. We see what she does to you and we see the way she treats you, but know that it gives us strength because you handle her with such grace, and we know that it's hard. And he said, I want you to be strong because your strength is giving us strength. And guys, I kid you not, in that moment I broke down in tears in front of my employee. I literally said to him, I don't know what is it I'm doing for her to treat me so poorly. Like, she's treating me like shit day after day, invading my personal life. Like, I just literally broke down. I said thank you after I said that, and I started walking. And when I got to the location, I was just like, I gotta quit this job. So I took a leave of absence for a mental health break, found the job that I got let go from, and took a month off, took some vacation because I had a lot of time that I was fine, you know. And then when I was supposed to go back, I just sent them an email saying I quit effective immediately, and that was the last of it. I had seen her like a year later, and she tried to did like a fake apology to me, and I just said to her, as long as I'm breathing the breath of life, don't you ever speak to me again. Don't matter where you see me. Like, I don't have to be nice to you. I don't have to be respectful to you. I did those things because I was trying to not lose my job stupidly. And then a week later, I found out they fired her. So that was my story and why I left that job. She was the boss from hell. And she literally lived to make me feel small. And I refuse to let anyone do that to me. And that's what I quit. I quit that job.